Hiyo, my name is Abby. If you don't know me, welcome. If you do, welcome back. Today we're doing something a little different. We're switching it up. So I've been sharing a lot of vinyasa flows, but today I figured I'd share with you my favorite just post workout stretches, or even just post day of living stretches. It really works to target the hips, a little bit of upper body, a little bit of twisting. It's kind of just everything you would need to wind down and decompress a little bit. So I recommend having some blocks nearby, maybe a strap. It's going to be a shorter practice and we're going to have a lot of fun with it, I hope. Fingers crossed. So we're going to get started whenever you're ready. Just in a nice tall seat. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Just bring yourself to your mat, clearing any thoughts. Deep breath in. And an exhale. When you feel ready, we're going to make our way toward hands and knees into a tabletop position. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. We'll inhale for cow pose. And exhale to round through your cat. Continue moving here with your breath. Really just tuning into whatever your body needs here. Noticing any cracks. Any areas where you're feeling that there's a little bit of tension, just spend an extra couple of seconds there. We'll take about 2 more rounds of breath here. Before we make our way back toward a downward facing dog, we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips high, downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal out through the feet, bending one knee and then the other. Knocking your hips from side to side. Bend both knees to tip the tailbone up nice and high. Maybe you start to melt the heels down from there. On your next breath in, we'll gaze toward the top of our mats as we exhale, forward folds. Allow the upper body to melt over your legs. Maybe you interlace wrists in opposite elbow creases. We're here for just one breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. We'll inhale to lengthen, halfway's lift. And exhale, plant the hands. You'll step your left foot back for a low lunge. So you can lower down your back knee. Reach your arms either up overhead, maybe to the top of your thigh. Maybe you take the fingertips behind you to open up through your chest. So with each breath, just noticing that opening through your left hip crease. We're here for one more deep breath in. And exhale, half split. We're going to straighten and fold forward over that left leg. Pointing your toes up towards your face. Notice your hips squaring forward. We'll take a deep breath in, low lunge. Open up through the chest. And exhale, straighten and fold. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, half split. 2 more here. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Last one, inhale, low lunge. And exhale, half split. We'll inhale into that low lunge, tuck the back toes, lift up into a high crescent lunge just for a moment. Again, noticing your hip root down toward the floor. 1 breath in. Exhale, open up warrior 2, pivot the back heel down. Notice the right knee pressing out toward the right. The next breath in, we'll take Skandasana, side lunge towards the back of your mat. Maybe your hips crack just like mine did. We'll maybe take a block underneath your seat. Maybe you take a bind of your arms behind your back. crack. Deep breath in, full breath out. On the next breath in, we'll lift through the feet, warrior two. And as you exhale, half moon pose, fingertips toward the top right corner of your mat. Get light on your back toes. We're gonna open up through the chest here. Maybe you have a bind of that top foot. If you have that bind, kick your foot into your hand, opening through your hips, opening through the chest. We'll take a deep breath in. And exhale to release into a standing split. So the arms are going to come down as the left leg continues to reach up toward the sky. Try to square your chest down with your standing leg. We'll take a deep breath in. Exhale, release, lizard lunge. We'll step the foot back, heel toe your right foot out. My hair is everywhere today, but we're gonna make our way into that lizard lunge. Maybe you take your knee out toward the side. Maybe you bend your back knee, reaching for the top of your back foot. Find what works for you here. We're here for just one more deep breath in. And exhale to release, hands beneath your shoulders. Yogi squat at the top of your mat, Malasana. Step your left foot up, shift your hips low. Take the hands together, press your elbows into your thighs into your elbows. Chest is nice and tall. Left arm will come to the outer left corner of your mat. Reach your right arm high. Deep breath in. And exhale, maybe there's a bind behind your left leg. We'll take a deep breath in. And exhale to release, hands plant, shift the hips high, forward fold. Maybe you bend through one knee and then the other. Figure out what you need here. We'll take a deep breath into halfway's lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. We'll step the right foot back this time, low lunge, meeting wherever you'd like. Maybe the arms come up overhead, maybe hands to the top of your thigh, maybe hands on blocks or the floor by your sides. Just notice what feels right here. Noticing that right hip sinking down toward the floor. We'll take a deep breath in. And exhale, straighten and fold, half split. Toes can point up to the face. Square the hips forward. We'll start to flow this movement. Inhale, low lunge, come forward. Exhale, half split, straighten and fold. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. We'll inhale for a high crescent lunge. Tuck the toes. Lift the knee. Reach your arms. Just one breath in here as the hip sinks. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Maybe you gaze over the front fingertips, left knee draws out. On the next breath in, we'll take Skandasana, side lunge to the back of your mat. Notice that opening through your left hip, maybe you get that little pop. If you have a bind, you can take the right arm out, left arm up. Maybe you reach behind your back to clasp. One breath in. And an exhale, release. Inhale to warrior two. And as you exhale, half moon pose. Fingertips to the top left corner of your mat, maybe on a block. Maybe the top arm comes up overhead. Maybe you reach for that bind of your top foot. If you have that foot, maybe you kick it into your hand to open through your chest. Just noticing your breath, your stability. for one breath in. And as you exhale, standing split, melt your chest down. Keep that right heel lifted up toward the sky. With each exhale, melting your chest a little bit closer toward that left leg. We'll take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lizard lunge, step the foot back, we'll heel toe the left foot toward the top left corner of your mat. Maybe you open up toward the side. Maybe you have that bind of your back foot. You can also play around with finding a little bit of movement here in the hips. We've just got one breath in. And we'll exhale to release. Malasana Yogi Squat is next. We'll step to the top right corner as you shift your hips low. Again, nice and tall through the spine, active through the upper body and the legs. We can stay here. Or if you want that bind, the right fingertips to the top right corner of your mat, left arm reaches high. Deep breath in. Exhale to stay or reach for that bind behind your back. We'll take one more deep breath in here. And exhale to release. Forward fold. Allow your upper body to hang heavy. We'll take a deep breath in, halfway's lift. And exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. We'll start with our half pigeon on the left side. Inhale, lift your left leg high. And exhale, half pigeon. Try to parallel your shin with the top of your mat. Back knee can lower down. Start to square your hips forward. Maybe you take a block underneath your left glute. And you can stay lifted in the chest. If you have a king pigeon or a back bend here, you can take that. Maybe that's fingertips to the floor, almost as if you have a string attached to your breastbone, pulling it up toward the sky. If you have some kind of bind, some kind of king pigeon, you can grab for that, taking whatever variation works for you. When you're ready, we'll start to melt the chest down toward the floor. Allow your upper body to hang heavy. With each breath out, releasing any tension in your jaw, releasing any tension in the eyebrows or forehead. On your next breath in, we'll start to press up and swing your right leg around. From here, we're going to take a little seated fold. So as you inhale, reach the arms high, and exhale, fold your chest forward over your right leg. You can allow your upper body to round here, noticing that release through your right hamstring. And when you feel ready, we'll slowly press the way up. Make your left knee come up toward the sky. We're going to take the left hand behind us for a twist. Inhale to reach the right arm high. And exhale, hook your arm to the outside of your left thigh. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. And exhale to twist. On your next breath in, we'll take a counter twist. Arms come over toward the right, bow your chest forward. And if you'd like, you can move through downward facing dog, or you can simply bend through your right knee, taking the shin parallel, sweeping your left leg back behind you for your half pigeon on this side. So when you arrive, again, the hips will square forward. Maybe there's a block underneath your right glute. You can open up through the chest. Maybe it's a baby back bend. Maybe you take your version of a king pigeon, finding your way there with ease and grace. Just being gentle with your body. Taking as many moments as you'd like in that back bend before you slowly start to melt your weight down over that right leg. On your next breath in, we'll press into the hands, lift. You're going to swing your left leg around toward the top left corner of your mat. Right foot to the inside of your thigh. Inhale to reach tall. And exhale, fold forward over that left leg. Again, chest can round here if you'd like. And on the next breath in, we'll make our way to a nice tall seat as we prepare for that twist. Right knee up to the sky, right hand behind you, left arm lifts and hooks to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale to lengthen through your spine, and we'll exhale to twist over toward the right. On the next breath in, we'll take a counter twist over toward the left. And we'll make our way toward a wide-legged fold, legs out towards the wide edge of your mat or just out to the sides. You're going to try to stack your sit bones beneath you, tilting at your pelvis as you fold your chest forward. If you'd like, you can take a block underneath your sit bones here. That'll help to kind of shift your hips forward so that you can find that pelvic tilt a little bit easier. With each breath, maybe you can find a little bit of room here to maybe go a little bit deeper. And as you feel ready, we'll slowly make our way back towards a nice tall seat. We're going to make our way back toward downward facing dog as we prep for our splits. So on the next breath in, lift the left leg high, and as you exhale, step it through for a low lunge. I always start with my splits on my left side because I have less mobility on my left side because I'm right-handed. So I find, also, grab your block. I find that starting on the left side helps me a little bit more so that I give my full effort on this side, because I notice if I start on the right, because I have so much more flexibility on that side, I spend more time there, and then when I get to the left side, I'm like, nah, this is too hard. I don't want to do this. So it's nice to start with the difficult part, take as long as you can with it, and then go to what is easier. So figure out what you need here. Maybe that's a block under your seat. Maybe you have blocks underneath your hands. What I like to do when I go into splits is just try a bunch of different variations. So I'll take like a little side bend here. Maybe you fold the chest forward over your leg. Maybe the hands come inside of the leg. You can also play around with rocking your weight a little bit further over toward the right. I notice that that can help me open up through my right hip crease. And even just like little back bends here and there. So just playing around with it. Splits can be really difficult because we associate it with such discomfort, and it's seen as such a high level like stretch or pose, but in reality it's just a really nice hamstring stretch and a really nice hip stretch. And the more you start to approach it from a place of a place that's not fear, and a place that's more curious, where you're trying to learn more about your body rather than judge where you're at, the deeper you're going to be able to go with it. So yeah, I slowly will typically start with the block and then take the block off to the side and play around here. Again, my left side. A little rough, but we're working on it. We'll stay here for probably another 3 breaths or so. If I'm really feeling spicy, I like to set a timer for like 1 to 3 minutes and see how long I can hold, just to become more comfortable in it. But if I'm just like, then whatever, whatever I want to do. So when you're ready, we'll slowly make our way out of this. Take your knees under your hips, maybe move through a round of cat-cow or 2. Noticing the difference in your hips. So for me, I feel a little more tight in my right hip crease because that was being stretched. So we'll start to move on to the other side when you're ready. Again, you can shift from down dog or just step your right foot forward this time. And again, have your blocks nearby if you'd like them. We're just going to shift that right heel forward, left foot back. Always try to move slowly and with control here. And really think about the activation that is present. We're not just falling into this. The hip flexors are engaged as they work to square the hips forward. Your chest, maybe it's lifted. Maybe you choose to round down. Just noticing what might feel a little bit easier here and what might give you a little more tension. A lot of times when we come into our splits, it can be difficult because we want to be there. We want to be at the final and finished product, but it takes time to get there. And if you don't give your body the space to feel supported, you're not going to get there. You're going to continue to feel fearful. And without that support, you won't be able to safely lower down. So there's no shame in having a block or even 2 blocks or 3 blocks underneath your hip to start. As long as you're honest with yourself and you know, I can go further than this. I'm going to put myself through a little bit of discomfort so that I can make gradual progress. And that's kind of what I love about yoga and about stretching and really just anything in our bodies, is being able to find where I can test myself, test my strength, my mental endurance, and push myself past where I believe I can go. And ultimately, it's about how far you believe you can go with things. It's not so much about what you accomplish or how great it was. It's really just, what do you believe you can do and what does it mean to you? So that's just me. We're gonna sit in this split for another 3 breaths or so. Make it even Stevens. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way out of it. We're going to bend the knee, take your right knee underneath your hip, and notice the difference. Move through maybe a cat-cow, maybe a little hip twirl. Definitely feels a little different than the last time. So from here, we're just going to make our way onto our backs. And on our backs, we're just going to do our final little bits of poses. So we're just gonna hug the knees into the chest, give yourself a few little roll outs here through your low back. And then from here, we're gonna take one round of back bending. You can plant the feet. Maybe it's a bridge pose. Maybe it's a supported bridge with a block. Maybe you come into a full wheel. Full wheel has the fingertips toward the shoulders. Lift your hips high. Engaging through the glutes as you press into the feet to press your chest forward. We've got just 2 more breaths here. And on your next breath out, we'll slow roll all the way down onto the ground. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. We'll circle out through the knees. We're going to take 2 twists. So start by crossing your left knee over your right. Bump the hips over toward the left as we knock the knees down toward the right side. Left arm out towards your left side. Softening your breath. On your next breath in, hug the knees in toward the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. We'll make our way toward the opposite side. Right knee over left. We'll bump the hips over toward the right. Knees fall to the left as we open up toward the right side. On your next breath, we're going to slowly make our way back towards center. Center out the hips, draw the knees in towards your chest. You can stay here. Maybe there's a happy baby pose, grabbing for the outsides of the feet as you rock your weight side to side. You can stay here as long as you like. Maybe you melt into a Supta Baddha Konasana or a supine butterfly pose, feet together, knees out wide. Maybe you just take a few moments here to tune in to what's happening in the hips. A final sense of release. You're welcome to stay here. Maybe you melt the feet out toward the outer edges of your mat, arms resting down by your sides. We'll rest here for just a couple of breaths today to recenter our energy, gather our thoughts, gather the sensations in our body. And when you feel ready, we'll slowly bring some movements into the hands, the feet, the head. Maybe you open up for a full body stretch. You can bend the knees, rock onto a side, or maybe you hug the knees in towards your chest as you roll your way up to a nice tall seat. Again, you can stack the spine nice and tall, roll the shoulders down your back. We're just going to end practice today with 2 collective breaths, resetting the spine. As you inhale, reach the arms high up overhead. Exhale, hands through heart. One more deep breath in, reach tall. And exhale, hands through heart. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this little split/flexibility practice. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I love this practice. I do it literally every time I go to the gym or whenever I have time at night. So maybe you integrate it into your routine. Maybe you add it to the end of one of the other flows that I have. But whatever you do with it, I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. thank y'all for sharing this time with me. If you want to see more, feel free to like, share, subscribe, all of the good stuff. That always helps me, and it helps me help you. So yeah, thanks for coming. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, y'all.